What's going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. This time it's Iron Man Mark 7 from Hot Toys, and you can pre-order this figure at bigbadtoystore.com. Just click the link down below. The box is a bit different for me. I've held some diecast Iron Mans before, but this is something different. It doesn't feel premium. Is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have that what do you call it? That film that goes around it. It opens from the side. So basically, what you do is just slide it out. The previous versions, you have to take it out. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just noticing. I'm just saying. But the box is a bit reflective. But again, it doesn't have that. It looks like the previous versions, the diecast at least, looks laminated. That's all I'm trying to say here. And there's two separate boxes. And to think that this maybe there's a reason why this figure is a bit it's a bit heavy. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's being supported easily by this one. Although I would say the styrofoam that actually holds the figure is quite nice. It does have these markings on the side. It says Mark 7. And on the top, I'm gonna do like a little bit of unboxing here. But for anyone who had diecast figure before, you know that the figures, they're nicely secured. It also plastics and all that stuff. But underneath, that's where majority of the accessories lies, the base and all that stuff. And it's no different than this figure. And I took it out and the head just came off right off the bat. And maybe that explains, there's like a little nudge on the nose of this figure. It doesn't show on the camera, but I see it on hand. And it's perfectly lined up in the middle. It's quite annoying, honestly, but whatever. And this is the back part. As you can see, I love it when it has its own compartment. Because typically when it comes to Iron Man or any other figure for that matter, I try not to use the box as storage for accessories. I've made a video about this. But some of the accessories are huge that can't fit on my normal storage. So sometimes I still use the box, but especially for delicate something that might break, like you can see from this gauntlet right here. It has the missile that's protruding out. Normally you don't want it commingling with other accessories because you might pull one off and you just break it. And this is what, like a $400 figure, almost $500 if you factor in shipping and taxes and all that stuff. So it's really expensive, and you don't want anything breaking just in case you want to sell it down the line if you decided you don't want to do this hobby anymore. And it would significantly devalue your figure if you have something broken or scratched off or anything like that. But yeah, this is I don't really know why they gave us a separate gauntlet, honestly. For the one that he does have, you can remove this part and you can insert it with something that's it's still a missile, but you can have it closed down. So different variations. I get it from that standpoint, but the gauntlet itself, it's not like it's battle damage. I wish that if they have given this to us, because the one that's currently on the figure is capable of doing that. It just does have a little, like openings on the side and all that stuff. But overall, that could have been done in one, I would say, package. Now the hands, it's nice and it's craft up, and it does have the normal fisted hands, repulsor hands and the finger hands for Iron Man. This one is a bit unique because not unique in terms of, we've seen this on Mark 6, but it does have that little opening sort of things right here. That's where you insert the laser beam effect, if you will. This one doesn't retract. I wish it did. That would have been cool. But yeah, I understand that's a bit difficult as well. But to save on, I guess, accessories. So that there you go. Some of the armor plates on the back of the hand does move, and you can see that's the beautiful head sculpt of the Robert Downey. You won't see it there. Again, there's some unnecessary accessories. I'm not complaining, but I felt like this could have been done again more efficiently, so it's like just we don't have to change accessories too much. I'm not complaining. I'm just I'm trying to save Hot Toys some money here, I suppose. This is the one with missiles on the side, and this one is a bit. This is one of those accessories that I meant they're a bit delicate, because you could break that flap opening, the silver one, not this. This used to be like a film that you can take out. Now it's just painted on, and again, no big deal. But yeah, that part right there, you probably could break it if you just accidentally put this one down and you put another figure on top of it by accident. So you got to be careful when handling these things. Otherwise, you'd break them. And this is the pod. This is really cool because this is one thing that the previous Mark 7, which is the plastic version, didn't had. This one also does light up, and I had a lot of fun, assembling the pod. And it's a bit scary at first, but once you take out the hands, what I didn't do is take out the advanced pod where you have the hands. I don't know. I just didn't feel comfortable taking out the shoulder pads. I tried. I attempted it a little bit, but I eventually gave up. I didn't. I didn't have to see that, honestly. But I think it's cool that they included that option, which is pretty unique. This is the battle damage. So there's a few battle damage pieces, and this is the chest plate. That's pretty cool. It not only does it come with like those looks like it's exposing some metal, but it also has some dents on it, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, and then you see those. There's optional for the shoulder pads, and this is mostly for the pods. Those where you're gonna insert the laser beam right here on that circular pattern. But even though we're gonna take a closer look just to show you all the details of this piece right here. It's beautiful. The silver paint, the red paint. This entire piece is just gorgeous. I always wanted Mark 7. I always thought Mark 7 was the Iron Man even back then. If you rewatch my review, I don't know, 7 years ago from the plastic version, because it's so versatile. Before Mark 50, I felt like this is a combination of like new technology of Iron Man. Obviously, that is before I saw Mark 50, and the old school, because it does have that robotic feature, yet it's loaded with guns. And back then, when the first Mark 7 came out, I was excited. I really want to buy it, which I eventually did and sold it to, because I think I kept Mark 42. But now in the diecast form, there's no way I'm going to resell this guy. It looks great, just watch out for my comparison video for between this and Mark 50 for those who can't afford both. And the easy answer again is buy both, but I understand some people have tighter budgets. Some people can only own one Hot Toys figure, so trying to help those out, those guys. Or maybe you just have room for one Iron Man, and there's so many, and they're all cool looking. It's easy to say buy all of them, but I understand the frustration there. I myself, I've held pretty much every Iron Man out there, outside of the Iron Legion, like the plastic ones. I forgot what their name, because it wasn't necessary. They just came out at Iron Man 3, so I skipped those. But the only one that I missed on diecast that I didn't own was Mark 2. That never really appealed on me. And Mark 5. I wish I would have seen that honestly firsthand, because I would have loved to see that. I know I didn't even like the movie Iron Man 2, honestly, but the figure itself looks phenomenal, and it's going for crazy numbers on eBay right now. Plus, I never had the urge to do a Hall of Armor. I always like Hall of Armor, but for whatever reason, I think it's more of a budget thing and space, that one Iron Man was really good for me, and that was it. But with this guy, I'm willing to make an exception. Right now, I'm set to 4. 7 for Mark 50 and Mark 85. And Mark 85 battle damage. So that's 5 Iron Man. Maybe I know I have a gift this coming Christmas for a Hall of Armor, and I got one so far. Maybe I'd buy 3 more if they go on sale or something, and just create my own Hall of Armor right there. But as far as this figure, you can see there's a bunch of scuffs and damages and all that stuff. So it's not pristine. And I don't know if you noticed, but it's more of a matte color. It's not as shiny. I wouldn't say completely matte, but it's not as shiny as the typical Iron Man figure that we used to seeing. So it looks great, but again, if you're expecting like those shiny Iron Man, you probably won't see it in this one. And as you can see here, this is the arc reactor, and now this, I didn't know at first that you can take this out. In Iron Man 3, this was flares, so I'm not sure in Iron Man Mark 7 and in Mark 7 what this is. I mean, on Mark 3 this was flares, so I'm assuming it's still flares. When he was being chased by those fighter jets, that kind of just took off and deployed those countermeasures and whatever. So it's pretty cool that they included that there. I didn't even knew it at first. I thought it was not in the instructions. I just saw it in one of the pictures. And this one's pretty obvious. You can just take this out, and it's been there since the beginning of Iron Man. There's some few minor details in here, which is pretty awesome. because you know, they included that in there. It's not something that you would, even this one, I didn't know this existed. So under your leg part on your Iron Man, you can take this out. You can see some circuitry on his leg, so you can pop this one out, and you can clearly see some electronics going on inside there, and then you can calmly just put this right back in. I think that's a pretty cool option that they included. Those minor details is what makes Hot Toys the best right now when it comes to details into 1/6 scale figure, and they are the best. You know, I sometimes I criticize them when it's rightfully so, and when it's time to praise them, hey, I give them props too. You know, you gotta call it both ways. I don't hate them. So some people are saying like, what do I buy or anything? It was just it's if I don't like them, why do I keep on buying them or something like that? I like Hot Toys, but to improve, you know, you gotta point out the some of the faults that they do have. And I don't know if they listen to my reviews. I'm pretty sure they don't, but still, you know, if I'm making them, and just might as well voice out my opinion. And this is the head sculpt. This is the clean version, although you can still see some scuffs and scratches in there, which I don't mind. Oh yeah, you can see like there's like a white stuff on his nose, snorting something. I don't know. And this is the battle damage version, which you can see a lot of scuff. Which you can swap out the faceplate as well. So if you want this to light up, you could. But this has the image of Tony Stark, which is pretty cool. Is this the same head sculpt as the one in Mark 6? Perhaps. I don't remember. But yeah, it's nice. He has some battle damage in his face. And the when Hulk took it out, it has some little details on the side. I think this is new. Those you know, pieces that it says there too on in the instructions. Try not to pull them out. But yeah, you rest them right here. Fortunately, I don't have the reverse polarity on the magnets. I'm always, you know, whenever you buy an Iron Man, the first thing you got to do is test out the lights, check out the magnets, and see if there's any scratches or missing pieces. You know, some people keep it in, you know, mint in sealed box, which is good if you could, but Hot Toys is known for it's not all the time. The only problem I have this time with this order is that white scratch on his and the nose part, which if I contact Sideshow or, you know, Big Bad, pretty sure they'll get this. By the way, I normally buy stuff from Big Bad, but Hot Toys did this 1-day promo where if you buy $350 worth of items, you get the Infinity Gauntlet for free, the quarter scale. So I jumped on it because I have a few more what do you call this, reward points. So I ended up paying a little over $370 for this figure and the Infinity Gauntlet. So that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. I had to jump on it, and I'm just showing you the difference between he always have similar accessory, but because you can change his look over and over, which is a pretty good thing. And this is the 3 variations of his leg armor. One close one, the gold one, and the other one you can see the missiles on it. That is if you want him full on battle tested Iron Man. So you can get that out too. So how you put this on is you just take it out and you see the exposed leg part right there. It's easy to match. You can see the circle part and the square part. You just kind of line them up and just push it in. And there you go, and you can see the leg part is going to be inserted, and that's all there is to it. At first I was just like, okay, that looks like a hexagon, but there you go. So kind of push it in. This particular piece right here doesn't feel like it snaps all the way through, but it will. So I just want to show you the difference when it's in his leg, and you just take it out, you put the gold ones, and you know, I like the fact, this is what I love about my Mark 7 back in the plastic day. And I know they released the battle damage Mark 7 too, the plastic back in which is a lot more battle damage, which I didn't really bought that, because back in the day, if you want something exclusive, you actually have to wait, you know, and then when it goes on sale, you gotta click refresh all the time, otherwise it'll sell out quickly. And this is the shoulder piece. You can see the difference there. So the clean version is not completely clean, and this is the back part where it covers the battery. So you can see one is for battle damage and one is for not. And this is the stand, which is a pretty cool stand. I would say this is a resemblance of the Battle from New York. And this one keeps up coming off. It's the sticker. I wish there was a plaque, but That's okay. It's a nice sticker though. It's a reflective sticker. The base itself is nice, nicely detailed. So for those who has been in on the bottom part, you can see there's a place for battery, because for anyone who's been collecting long enough, this is a recycled version of the T800 base. You see, it's a different tone. The T800 is a pipe bomb. As you can see, there's some blood splatter all over, and the positioning of the bullets are a bit different, just a bit. And you can see the tone, and it's but similar. But the difference is the T800 lights up, and the T800 back then was $200. I know it's two different figures, but come on, Hot Toys, why would you take that out? And the stand right there, you can see it. This is more of a dynamic stand compared to the crotch grabber from T800. But I wish they would have included the light. You know, it's not that big of a deal, but come on, man. Why? It's there. Might as well use it. And this is, you know, the figures. I mean, as far as articulation, you can do whatever you want with the figure. And if I had to comment on one thing, one negative, it's not that big of a negative, but there are portions where they feel so plasticky. Not portions, I would say some of the removable things, and you feel like you're gonna break them because some of them just are snapped in too tight, and it's not exactly their fault. It's just how the engineering works. I wish they would use more magnets. They use magnets on the chest piece, which I'm happy about. But the other parts, I think it would benefit from that. Legs you can pull down. You can pull down the chest area. The head you can also pull down, and there's magnets in there, and so many pieces in here that are really cool, that are removable. You know, I'm not going to explain to you which one bends or, you know, 90 degrees. And this is the pod version. As you can see here, that is pretty cool. So it took a while. So I would say if you are attempting this, take your time. I'm not going to do the advanced pod version because I feel like I'm going to break his arms if I do that. But this one itself is pretty cool. Yeah, you see this? I'm going to put him on a rotating base here. I like the fact that they came up with this. I love it. You know, this pod feature is amazing. They didn't have to. They could have made an exact replica of Mark 7, which they did. I was surprised that they did that. I honestly give them kudos because they gave us the battle damage pieces. I thought they were gonna skip that and just move on without that. And then they're gonna release a battle damage version, which they did on the plastic version as well, so they can double dip. Which they still could, technically. But I like the fact that they added... It's almost $100 more than Mark IV. But still, the fact that they included all these accessories is a big plus to me. And it's almost $500, honestly, after taxes and all that stuff. But I'm going to put him in 3 poses to showcase you the 3 different looks that he could do. Which is, this one is the normal version, not attacking of any sort whatsoever. Just regular Iron Man. So he's the famous repulsor blast host. I wish I didn't turn on the lights of this figure, and I always put on the batteries on every figure that I have. I was never, you know, if they corroded, I'll replace the batteries. I've never had any issues on my years of collecting from Iron Man. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I like to enjoy them. You know, I like to turn on the batteries every once in a while when I'm taking pictures, so I don't want to worry about them too much. If it gets corroded, you know. But again, so far I've been lucky. So, and this is the, I would say the fully loaded version where you got the laser beams pointing up. You know, when I was taking this video, it doesn't look like the beams are pointing up, and now I did hit the wall with those laser beams, so it's okay. You know, just got to move him a little farther. So this is the loaded one. You see on his thighs there's like missiles protruding out, the missiles on his forearms, on his shoulder pads, and you're ready to attack basically. And you know, maybe I would this is the good part. You can display him however you want. You can display him like this, or the normal version, or the battle damage. So if you are into photography, this would give you several options. You know, it's different scenarios on how you would take pictures of him or display him for that matter. And look at this guy right here. It looks great. And I'm going to give you a little bit closer here just so you can see the fine details of this guy. It is just beautiful. Look at that. Ready for battle, man. Ready for battle. So you can appreciate the look And this is the battle damage version, basically for the entire figure. So I replaced all the removable pieces and made them all scratched up, even the head sculpt right there, and use the shoulder pads. This is the look that I'm going for as of the moment. I don't know, just because I don't have a lot of battle damage Iron Man, so this would be it would stay this way. But if you do it, if you display him as the battle damage, you are using the least amount of accessories basically, because the shoulder pads are, you're just basically using, well, you are doing the same thing if you're doing the clean version, just the pads, so you have to keep them away. The forearm is just the easy part, and this is the 3 versions. I kind of just mask them together so you can kind of see them revolving. So not, you know, it's not a major difference. It's not like you're going to change the look of the figure entirely, but it is an option, which that's why I love it. You have the option to just change the figure without buying extra accessories compared to the Mark 50, which is, if you want to change the look of Mark 50, you got to spend another $250. With this one, it's $433. It's included. The only downside is you got to keep all those accessories probably in the box if you don't want to damage them completely. But that's one downside that I'm willing to take, if that means I could, you know, I mean, change this look. Not drastically, but at least change it. And this is the pod again. I told you I love this pod. So I'm going to keep on showing it to you guys. The hard part of this is the small pieces, because those wings, it feels like they're going to break every time. Because one of them, you got to separate it from one of his shoulder pads. And that requires a lot of, I would say, patience, and you need to be in a bed when you do that. Not because you want to sleep afterwards, but if you miss the mark, then it would just fall off, and at least it falls off the bed. And if that happens, at least you don't break any small tiny piece or anything, so you don't have to glue anything. But yeah, this is, I don't know if anyone's going to display him like this. I mean, if you have a spare Iron Man, I suppose, but such a waste of Iron Man. But I like the fact that you can do that. Now, alongside his friends here, just for height comparison, I didn't realize that War Machine is so much taller than Mark 7, which he is. I don't know, maybe the shoulder pads has something to do with it as well. And he is taller than Black Panther as well. And there you go, guys. This is a Mark 7. You're gonna look at all those accessories. If you're talking about getting your money's worth, you pretty much have 3 looks for your figure. So that is it. So if you are having second thoughts of getting this figure, I would say don't. Fantastic figure. So many options, a lot of accessories. Some of them are gonna stay in the box. Most of them are gonna stay in the box. But the option to swap them out, get different looks, and it's more of a classic Iron Man look, to be quite honest with you. So if you're not into the nanotech look, then this would be a good figure for you, and he would go well even with, you know, the newer versions. Obviously, you want the Mark 50 for that, but if you're into this kind of look, I would say they would still go well with the Infinity War / Endgame figures. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Iron Man, still diecast, and one hell of a figure. So thank you for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you're going to pick up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you in the next review.